Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports, and today we're going to do an episode in what is in our stand today. That's a series of videos where I talk about service I'm doing on a bike, and then I also provide some maintenance tips along the way. In this particular case, I've done several videos where I show that chain rings are worn, and some folks say, yeah, okay. It's a mixed bag of reactions. Some people say, oh, yeah, that's obvious. Some people say, oh, that looks fine to me. And I'm like, no, they're worn. They're worn. In my professional opinion, they should be replaced. So today I think I have a much clearer case to present to you about worn chain rings, and then, by contrast, what good brand new chain rings look like. All right, so without any further ado, let's get on with that. Some of you have probably watched the video where I have a Cannondale Slice triathlon bike that we are doing a full overhaul, and of course a lot of the parts are worn. And in this case, the chain rings are worn. So I wanted to show them to you because it's very important to show you in a theoretical sense what is a good example of worn chain rings. So here I'm showing you the dark chain rings underneath, and then the bright silver shiny is the new chain ring. Now notice how pointy the teeth are on this chain ring. By the way, these are also FSA, so this is like for like as far as brands. All right. And notice how square the tops are on the new chain ring. So pointy and new. Pointy and new. And you could just tell, look at these teeth here. How dramatic that is. How pointy these teeth are compared to this. So notice the nice flat tops. All right, so that's the inner chain ring. Now we're going to look at the big chain ring. And it's basically the same story. So you can see how pointy the dark chain ring is, and then how nice and flat the tops are on the new chain ring. And also notice the machining here. See that machining? So that right there allows, and you'll notice that there's different profiling on these teeth, right? So you can see how big that tooth is. It's hard to do because I've only got one hand. So you can see how big this tooth is, and then notice these. They're smaller, but they've got some machining on the side. Let's see if I can zoom in this way. So you can see the machining. And then you've got, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 teeth like that. And then you get to another tall one, right? Maybe more than 3 to 5, 6 or 7. And then you've got this pointy one here, and then the series starts again, right? But all that machining is gone on this chain ring, pretty much, because they're all pointy and they all have pretty much turned into one big mess of excessively worn chain rings. And the gentleman told me, yeah, I left the chain on there too long. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we will replace both chain rings. Now, I strongly suggest when you encounter situations like this, that maybe the inboard chain ring is worn, but the outer chain ring is kind of questionable, or vice versa. Or maybe, you put your chain checker on there, and it's not all the way to 1, but it's 0.75. Those of you, like they say, if you know, you know. Look, I own a shop. I'm liable for someone getting injured out on the road if I did half of the job that should have been done. So for example, because there are three major components to a drivetrain: chain rings, cassette, and chain. If you only change one of those three early enough, then you're okay. If you wait too long on any of those three and you only change one of them, you're going to have some shifting issues. It's not going to be perfect, and you're going to have some issues. So let's just say we just only did the chain on this particular job. With these very worn chain rings, when this customer would accelerate from a stop sign or stoplight, that chain could fall off. The chain could fall off. He could injure himself either on the chain rings, which is really nasty cuts. I've seen people on their shins and on their calves get cut by a chain ring. Oh, and also mechanics get cut on their arms. Or he could fall to the ground at 0 speed, which is one of the most... It's a really bad injury when you fall to the ground at 0 speed. It's actually safer to slide, at a 20 mile per hour crash, like, I don't know, 30-ish kilometers. And then you slide and you tumble and you get road rash. But when you fall at 0 speed, you break wrists, fingers, dislocate elbows, all kinds of stuff like that. And then on top of that, what if he falls into the traffic lane? What if he falls in front of other riders at the stoplight? We're all rolling out. So just don't take the chance. I know times are hard, things are expensive. Cycling is an expensive sport, so you have to really pay attention to your gear. Replace your chain often, but if you didn't get a chance to do that and your chain starts to wear down your chain rings, please replace it. Replace it so that you're safe. And that's what I do here at the shop. This cassette's worn as well. So all three of those components that I mentioned, chain rings plural, cassette, and chain are going to get replaced. Okay, well that's all for today. I'm off my soapbox, but it's pretty much a PSA, a public safety announcement, because I want to make sure that people do not take shortcuts when you're at home. The shop will pretty much lead you the correct way to keep themselves from any liability issues and to keep you safe. But when you're at home, sometimes you got to make that call on your own. And I strongly suggest just replace the stuff. It's better that way, and it's safer that way. Okay, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe. Please share this video with some folks if they're on the fence as to what their chain rings look like, and you can show them an example of a new chain ring. Okay, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you up the road.